The land calls for its defenders. But when the past is never truly gone, can anyone truly escape the weight of what came before? In the heart of the West, where blood was spilled, the stakes are higher than ever. Welcome to 666, the first Yellowstone sequel, where old battles still rage, and a new generation fights for survival, power, and the land that binds them all. The camera opens with a slow, wide aerial shot over the vast, dusty plains of the 666 Ranch. The land stretches out endlessly, unforgiving and raw. The wind kicks up, swirling dust around the old weather-beaten ranch buildings, hinting at the passage of time. The ranch looks untouched by civilization, isolated from the world. There's a haunting beauty in the emptiness. The sun sets behind the distant hills, casting long shadows over the land. The entire scene feels timeless, as if the land itself is holding a secret, waiting for someone to uncover it. The music is low and slow at first, adding to the tension. A lone figure on horseback can be seen in the far distance, riding toward it, the ranch, their silhouette barely visible against the horizon. This figure doesn't speak, doesn't make any sudden moves. They simply ride toward the camera, heading straight for the heart of the 666 Ranch. Their presence is enough to suggest that something is about to happen. A storm is coming, and it's not one of nature's making. The shot lingers, as if asking the audience, "What do you see in this land?" The camera zooms in slightly on the rider, their face hidden beneath the brim of a wide cowboy hat. The wind picks up again, and we hear the sound of the horse's hooves pounding on the dry earth, a steady rhythm that builds anticipation. The music swells, a low rumbling hum growing louder as we move closer to the rider. Yet still, we don't get a clear view of their face. As the rider nears the ranch, we cut to a close-up of their worn boots, kicking up dust with each step. Then, to their calloused hands gripping the reins. The tension builds, but there are no words. The silence speaks volumes. The only sound is the wind, the hooves, and the heavy breathing of the horse. Everything about this scene is slow, deliberate. There's no rush. This land doesn't need to hurry. It waits, and when the time comes, it demands its due. Just as the rider approaches the gates of the ranch, the music abruptly cuts, leaving only the wind. The screen goes black, and the only thing we hear is the sound of the wind again. This time colder, harsher. Text on screen. The legacy of the land, now facing a new chapter. The tension lingers. Unanswered questions hanging in the air. Who is this rider? What does their arrival mean for the ranch? And what secrets does the land hold? The opening shot sets the stage for everything that follows. A land full of mystery, danger, and unresolved. The screen fades in from black, and we are immediately thrust into a tense moment. A quick cut shows a pair of hands tightening around the grip of a rifle, a subtle but unmistakable sign of readiness. The shot is brief, just a flash, but enough to tell us this is a place where danger is never far away. As the camera pulls back, we catch our first glimpse of the new protagonists, individuals who have their own complicated relationship with the land, the past, and the future. But they aren't here to talk about it. They're here to fight for what's theirs. One by one, we see the faces of these characters, strong, determined, with eyes that tell a story of hardship and survival. A woman in her late 30s stands in front of a barn, her weathered face set in a hard line, staring out at the horizon. She's been here before, and she's no stranger to the kind of life this land demands. A scar runs along her jawline, a visible mark of a battle fought and survived. Her hands, rough and calloused, pull a saddle from a nearby post. The silence is broken only by the sound of the saddle being fastened onto a horse Her gaze never wavers, but there's something deeper in her eyes, a sense of urgency, a need to protect, to preserve. In a nearby barn, another man is already preparing his horse. He's younger, maybe in his late 20s, with a look of quiet intensity. His fingers fumble slightly as he attaches the reins. But it's not fear. It's anticipation. He's been waiting for this moment, and now it's here. His clothes are simple, faded jeans and a shirt that's been through too many rough days. But he moves with purpose. Every action deliberate. The camera focuses on his eyes. Cold, calculating, but something flickers within them. A past he can't escape, a future he's not sure of. As we move through the scene, we see a third character, a man in his 40s, standing alone on the porch of a house, looking out toward the horizon. His face is lined with age, but there's strength in his posture. He's seen too much to be naive, and too many things have happened on this land that he can never forget. The camera lingers on him, and the silence grows heavier. His fingers rub the worn edges of a letter in his pocket. The crease is revealing it's been read many times. The wind blows gently, but there's a heaviness in the air, an unspoken tension between these characters. Each one stands apart, yet there's a sense that they are connected by something deeper than blood. By the land, by what came before, and by what's about to unfold. Their actions speak louder than words. And as the camera lingers on each of them, we feel the weight of their decisions pressing down on them. The land, with all its beauty and brutality, has shaped them, and now it's time for them to shape it. In a quick flash, the camera shows them all together, a brief shot of the group standing in the open field. The wind whipping around them. They stand tall, eyes forward, but there's no clear sense of unity. It's more like a group of individuals forced into the same battle, each one determined to survive on their terms. Text on screen. New blood, new challenges. These aren't the Duttons, but they are the next generation. And just like those who came before them, they will have to fight for everything they hold dear. The question is, who will win? And what will they lose along the way? The screen flickers as if something long buried is stirring to life. A sudden flash of images rushes across the screen, quick cuts of fire, dust, and violence. The kind of raw chaos that only the West can offer. The camera tightens on the face of a man, worn by time, eyes filled with resolve. It's John Dutton, but not the man of today. The image we see is one from the past, the man at the height of his power. The image is blurry, almost like a fading memory, yet the weight of his actions hangs over it like a shadow. A deep rumbling voice cuts through the whirlwind of images. The land doesn't forgive, and neither do we. The voice is unmistakably John Dutton's. But it's not just a voice, it's a warning. A reminder of everything that came before, everything that was fought for and lost. And now, as the screen darkens, we see a fleeting shot of the 6666 ranch, still standing, but forever changed by the past. The land doesn't forget, and neither do the people it shapes. The music swells, and the past becomes tangible. In the next flashback, the scene changes. This time, it's a dusty, bloody confrontation on the steps of the old ranch house. A group of men, strangers, but familiar in the way of the West, stand facing off with a lone rider. Their faces are hard, their guns drawn. It's a battle for ownership, for control of the land. The screen cuts quickly between close-ups of the faces of both the riders and the ranchers. Their eyes filled with distrust, hatred, and a quiet understanding that only one side can walk away with what they want. The shot blurs as the action becomes too fast to capture. Gunfire echoes in the distance, A flash of the Dutton family brand sears into the camera's view. Then, silence. The gunshots fade, leaving only the sound of wind in the desolate landscape. The camera lingers on the empty ground where a body once lay, a reminder that in this world, power is often bought with blood. Cut to a new moment, the hands of a young woman, the same woman we saw earlier, carefully placing a faded photograph of John Dutton on a table. The frame cracked, the photo weathered. She runs her fingers along the edges of the image, as if it holds the key to something deeper than memory. This is not just a picture. It's a symbol of the past that still has a hold on her. A past that shapes her decisions, her actions. She pulls the photo close, staring at it as if silently asking for answers. The voice continues. The past has a way of finding us. And when it does, there's only one thing left to do. The camera focuses on her eyes. Hard, unwavering. But something flickers within them. Regret? Hope? It's impossible to tell. But the silence between these flashes of the past is deafening. For a moment, the screen cuts to black. Text on screen. The Dutton legacy looms large. Then, a sudden burst of action. A man, in his 30s, rides fast through the wide-open plains, his face determined, but there's a sense of conflict in his movements. This isn't just any man. This is someone who has inherited more than just land. He's inherited the burden of a legacy that carries the weight of generations. As the camera pulls back, we see him riding toward the ranch, the land. Around him sprawling endlessly, as if the weight of the past is too much to carry alone. The voice comes again, low and steady. The land doesn't choose who it belongs to. It chooses who's willing to fight for it. The past is alive, and as the camera zooms out, we see the sprawling horizon of 66 Ranch in the distance. Legacies. The screen cuts to black, the silence hanging heavy in the air. For a split second, nothing moves. Then, we hear the unmistakable sound of hooves. Slow, steady, and getting closer. The camera reveals a lone rider approaching the gates of 66 Ranch, silhouetted against the blood-red sky of a dying sunset. The figure is draped in shadow, and even from a distance, there's a sense of foreboding. Who is this person? What do they want? The camera zooms in, focusing on the rider's boots, kicking up dust with each deliberate step forward. The only sound is the rhythmic pounding of hooves and the soft creak of the saddle. But there's an intensity in the air. Something is about to happen. As the rider comes closer, the camera shifts upwards, slowly revealing their face. But just before we can see it clearly, the screen cuts to another flash. This time, the shot is sharp and fast, a gun being pulled from a holster, a flicker of motion, and the sound of a hammer being cocked. The tension in the air is suffocating, the atmosphere heavy with the promise of something imminent. The figure, on horseback, stops at the gates of the ranch, staring ahead, their face still hidden in shadow. The camera lingers on the stillness. A moment stretched thin with anticipation. Who are they? And why does their presence carry so much weight? We feel it, but we don't know yet what it means. The next moment is a blur, fast and violent. The camera shakes, capturing a quick, close-up shot of someone running across the ranch, eyes wide with fear. A shout echoes in the distance. The screen flashes with a burst of gunfire. The camera swivels with a sudden jolt, and then everything goes quiet again. Cut to black, text on screen. Coming soon, the first Yellowstone sequel. 6666. The silence that follows is almost deafening. The tension has built to a fever pitch, and now the audience is left in the dark. What happens next? Who will be caught in the crossfire? What's coming for the ranch? The voiceover returns, steady, but ominous. When the past finds you, it never lets go. The camera lingers on the black screen for a heartbeat longer. And then, just as it's about to fade, we hear the faintest sound, the distant thundering of hooves. The story isn't over. It's only just beginning. Text in. On screen, get ready. The past is never far behind. The music crescendos, and with one final flash of the 1666 logo, the screen fades out, leaving the audience with nothing but questions and a thirst for more. The land has spoken. The battle has just begun.